traded away its best player, DeMar DeRozan.
DeRozan's jumper, good.
DeRozan is headed to the San Antonio Spurs in a blockbuster trade that includes 3 other players. The Raptors are getting 2-time All-Star Kawhi Leonard. He was the MVP of the NBA Finals 4 years ago, but he missed most of last season with an injury. DeRozan has been with the Raptors since they drafted him in 2009. DeRozan, for his part, took to Instagram to make his feelings known. He said in a series of posts, "Be told one thing and the outcome another. Can't trust them, ain't no loyalty in the game. Sell you out quick for a little bit of nothing. Soon you'll understand, don't disturb." Okay, so time for a little one-on-one over this trade. Dwayne Watson is a basketball analyst and the former host of the Home Court Show on TSN Radio, and he joins me in the studio. So, Dwayne, obviously, DeRozan not happy about this. Yeah. Was this a good move, though, for the Raptors?
Definitely. I think once you trade a top 20 player for a top 5 player, it's definitely an upgrade. But it's bittersweet for Raptors fans who, of course, have been passionate. But this is a team that the Raptors player they've drafted. They've seen him grow and develop into be an all-star and become really, in my eyes, the greatest Raptor of all time. And now to see him traded, I guess I can understand the frustration. But this is definitely an upgrade with a player like Kawhi Leonard.
Oh, you think so? Because there are a lot of people, online who, maybe don't follow as closely as you do, who seem really upset by this. DeMar DeRozan is upset. He loved this city. He embraced this city. He was part of the team. And Kawhi Leonard, he could only be here for a year.
Yeah, it's tough because DeMar is one of the first players who actually wanted to be in Toronto. I mean, there was a stigma for a while with Toronto and players coming to Canada. They didn't want to be there as free agents, and he embraced being part of the city. And I think, his frustration, of course, because it sounds like he was told, hey, we're not going to trade you, and then was traded. And, of course, if that's the case, that's unfortunate because you never want that to happen. But, fans, Toronto and Canadian fans have been attached to DeMar DeRozan, and with good reason, and he's done a lot of good for the city. But the problem is, at the end of the day, it's still a business.
All right, and so if it is a business, what is it about this trade that you think makes this better for the Raptors?
Well, I was here in May, and we talked when Coach Casey got fired, and I told you that I felt that while Coach Casey getting fired, it would have to be personnel as well, because this team couldn't go through another franchise-setting record season and having the same outcome. And I think this is it. They're going for a top 5 player. They're shooting for the stars. And, of course, this could only be a 1-year rental. But if it doesn't work, this team starts its rebuild. But I think the team had to make a move to get better in Eastern Conference.
All right. So do you think that this is the ticket? Is this now, because the Cavaliers, they no longer have LeBron James, right. And so there's a feeling that Toronto can kind of get through to at least a final, right?
Well, of course. Philadelphia and Boston are both better this season, but Kawhi is a generational player. He is a guy who can do stuff on both sides of the floor. He's an NBA champion. He's a Finals MVP. He's a great defensive player, and I think he's the kind of game changer that this team could definitely use to get to the NBA Finals, and I think that's what the Raptors are shooting for.
Now, there are rumors out there that he doesn't want to come to Toronto, that really he wants to be in Los Angeles. So does that matter? Is that important?
I think it's important because it's a risky trade. If they give up DeMar DeRozan and after a year they don't have Kawhi Leonard, everyone's going to say this wasn't the best move for this team. But I think you have to make that attempt. A similar thing happened with Paul George in Oklahoma City Thunder, where he was going to go back to LA and then he stayed in the offseason. So the Raptors have a full season to entice and convince Kawhi Leonard to stay in Toronto. And if they do, they've got a top 5 player in the league.
And this team was tight, right? The Raptors were tight. DeMar DeRozan was it's like losing the heart of your team in many ways. Does that become problematic for a team?
I think you're right. This team was a family. There was definitely a brotherhood, and Kim and Kyle Lowry were very, very close. And I think that changes it. But I think that these guys recognize as professional players that it is a business. And I think that Kawhi is kind of a low-key personality, so it's not like he's going to be abrasive in the locker room. And of course, with the experience he has, he's going to bring this team together and fill them to a conference final.
Did this surprise you? Because it seemed DeMar DeRozan seemed to be surprised. He's suggesting that he was told that he was going to stay, and then all of a sudden he's leaving. He didn't want to leave. Did it surprise you?
I think DeMar is surprised because I think it sounds like he was told he wasn't going to be traded. But I think everyone's been hearing the rumblings. Kawhi's been available, and Toronto was interested, of course. And I think DeMar was the best asset in that situation. So it's disappointing because you don't want to see a player of that caliber and what he went to the city go. But I don't want to sound like it's a business, but it's a business in sports, and winning championships is the key. And I think this team is going to do what it can to get the best player, and they got a great player in Kawhi Leonard.
So what do you say to fans who are upset by all of this?
Wait till you see Kawhi Leonard on the floor. What he can do defensively.
But he was injured, right?
He was injured, exactly. So the question is, what is his health going to be like? If he's healthy, he can be a phenomenal contribution to this team, and hoping that he's healthy. I think that the Raptors kind of had to mitigate the risk in knowing what they're going to get out of this guy and hoping that he's going to be healthy. But I think that you know, halfway through the season, if he's healthy playing, people will, I'm not going to say they're going to forget about DeMar DeRozan, but their frustrations will definitely be like much, much lower.
All right, we'll see. Dwayne, thank you. That's basketball analyst Dwayne Watson with me in the studio.